On July the 4th, just before midnight UTC, a private security report landed in the inbox of a Tencent open source project. It described a critical bug, the kind of a bug that hands an attacker the key to the old server. 3.5 hours later, at 3:30 in the morning, a pull request appeared, fixing exactly that bug. By 5:44 a.m. it was merged, and nobody ever replied to the report. The project is called Cube Sandbox, and it is a Tencent tool for running untrusted code safely. You give it a piece of code you don't trust, and it runs it inside a sealed box, which is a tiny virtual machine, so that the code can't touch anything else. And this isn't a side project. It runs in production on Tencent Cloud, the cloud arm of an alpha $1 trillion company with services handling tens of billions of requests every day. And here's the bug. When you created one of those sealed boxes, you could ask it to share any folder from the host machine into the box. Any folder, including the root of the entire file system, with write access. So the sealed box could open a door into the machine it was supposed to be sealed off from. Read its files, change them, take it over. And on a shared cloud server, that machine isn't just yours. Other customers are on it too. The report wasn't written by a security firm. It was written by an agent from the Aeon framework, which is an open source framework for autonomous agents. Aeon has 63 skills, and one of them is called the Vuln Scanner. Once a week, on a schedule, Vuln Scanner picks a popular open source project and audits with real security tools, the same tools that are used by professional auditors. And if it finds something and it is exploitable, it would flag it, it would send a report. Vuln Scanner signals a finding only when it is considered exploitable, and then whatever survives gets reported in a responsible way. And a serious code flow like this one goes through GitHub's private reporting channel, and only the maintainers can see it. So it's not a public post that hands a working attack to anyone scrolling by. And that's why you've never seen this report about the Tencent vulnerability. It was never public. And this was also a cons for us because we weren't acknowledged for that. The PR was accepted, but they didn't acknowledge our finding, which sucks, I would say. So one more time with all the details filled in, Aeon files the private report. It says anyone who creates a sandbox can mount any folder on the host, both read and write, which means a full takeover of the machine and everything on it. 3.5 hours later, Tencent's fix goes up. It restricts which folders can be shared, blocks the tricks of climbing out of an allowed folder into a forbidden one, and refuses the root folder outright. Point by point, that's a fix for exactly what we reported. It was shipped overnight and hours after a private report that only they could see, under a title that's almost word for word the title of our report. So the report was never acknowledged, unfortunately. No credit, no CV, no reply. Probably just a coincidence. If this were only one repo being secured by our skill, well, it might have been only luck, but it wasn't, because if we rewind also a month, Vulnscan discovered a vulnerability in the PewDiePie's repo. In fact, PewDiePie has been building his own self-hosted AI workspace called Odysseus, which runs AI models locally on your own machine. 84,000 stars on GitHub. But one of its servers had a hole, and our vulnerability scanner spotted it. In fact, any website that you happen to have open in your own browser could sneak requests to the AI server running on your own computer. Use your GPU and read the results back out. You'd never see a thing. Aeon wrote the fix, 300 lines, tests included. The maintainers merged it on June the 6th, and this one could be public because the fix landed together with the explanation. There was never a window where the bug was known but open. And there was also another vulnerability that was spotted by our scanner, which is the one it was found on the Alibaba's repo. Back then, their open code review projects had the same class of browser sneaking hole, like the one we found on the PewDiePie's repo, and Aeon fixed it. It was merged on June the 3rd and was rated with high severity. And it's not just my instance doing this. Someone else installed Aeon, let it run, and their copy got a fix merged into the same Alibaba repo, which was a bug that could freeze the service with one malicious input. Their whole write-up was just 3 lines: installed Aeon, secured a repo by Alibaba, and get acknowledged for that, with the PR being merged. The Vuln Scanner's scoreboard, as of today, ranks 65 open source projects being hardened, 1.9 million GitHub stars protected, 31 of the findings were rated high or critical, and every single entry is a merged fix with a link you can click. These aren't dead repos farmed for green squares. This is the best open source shipping right now. Developer tools, AI frameworks, infrastructure. Code that you're probably running right now. Superpowers at 260,000 stars. PewDiePie's Odysseus, Alibaba, and one very critical in production at Tencent, even though they've not acknowledged it yet. If the fix is emerged upstream, it doesn't count. That's the bar that we set. Aeon is open source. Fork it, run it, and your copy picks up the same Vul scanner skill on its next scheduled run. Maybe your fork finds the next big vulnerability, maybe a vendor even says thanks to you, as opposite to what Tencent did, and maybe you can even win a bug bounty using our Vul scanner skill. Every receipt of these vulnerabilities found with the Vul scanner can be found on our website. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so that we can deliver even more educational content about the potential use cases of Aeon agents and of the Aeon framework. See you on the next video. Bye!